All right, welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm the Pep Man, Matt Morrow, and what a night of high school football did we have tonight. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know many scores. I mean, we were at Cox Mill for a long time. West Charlotte and Cox Mill was the game we were at tonight. West Charlotte won that game big, 41 to nothing. We spent some time after the game talking with Coach Sam Griner, wide receiver Davion Jones, and quarterback Jamari Nichols. Just posted those interviews on our social media channels. So if you hadn't had a chance to check those out, feel free to go over there and check those out. Coach Griner's interview was very interesting. He shared the details from the West Charlotte point of view on why they did not play Independence during this week, as a lot of people were looking forward to going into week 3 of play. So make sure you check that out. I thought his explanation was very detailed and gave a lot of insight. I appreciate him for sharing that with us. But of course, the Friday Night Live, you post the scores, you post your comments. That's what we talk about on this show. I see a couple comments coming in now, but I'm going to try to pull up the Max Preps scoreboard so I can get some kind of idea of what's going on right here. But for the West Charlotte Cox Mill game, West Charlotte really, kind of slowly took control of the game in the first quarter. They had a couple big plays. Matter of fact, on the first play from scrimmage when they had the ball, they went play action. They had a wide receiver wide open. They just missed him on a deep ball. But that became the theme of the night, where they had a lot of big play touchdowns. They had a nice reverse for a touchdown that Davion Jones scored on. Jamari Nichols hit a couple deep balls. But the story of the game really was their defense. Their defense was really strong and stout. Cox Mill could never really get anything going offensively, and the Lions just really, assumed control of the games from there. So big win for them. But I got a couple comments. I want to go to the scoreboard and so I can see what the heck is going on. I do know that Irmo and Butler played a heck of a game. And Irmo won that game in overtime, 35 to 34, which who saw that coming? If you watch the show, if you've been following, what people have been saying about Butler all season long, you would not have guessed that was going to be the case, but that is what happened. Irmo scored first in overtime to go up 35. It was tied 28-28 at the end of regulation. Irmo got the ball first in overtime, and they scored to make it 35-28. Then Butler scored to make it 35-34, and they were going for two to win the game in overtime. And per the Irmo football Twitter, Butler dropped the snap, or they would have had a chance to get that playoff. But Irmo was able to make the stop and win the game in overtime. So I think a lot of people, were saying different things about, where Butler was, and, is the Butler staff, able to get those guys ready. But I think, they proved tonight that, number one, they're great coaches, which is something we already knew. But obviously they went back and they made, changes and adjustments, and they played a really strong Irmo team that's a state title contender in South Carolina in the overtime, and had a shot to win the game. So I think that says a lot about Butler for sure. I've got the Max. Well, let's go to your comments. I see a few here. Let's. Kim is here. Yeah, she's first again. Good evening, Nikisha. Good to see you. And then Clover, Armani Bird, our guy, says he got a sloppy 48-12 victory. I would take that sloppy. I would take that all days out of the week, man. Respect to Coach Simmons and their defense. Clover is now 2-1 on the season, so there you go. Good job, Clover. I think in our pick 'em, everybody picked Clover over Palisade, so at least we all got one win there. Lincoln Davis checking in. What's up, Lincoln? He says Highland Tech wins 8-7. Nice. All right, that's awesome. Congrats to Highland Tech. That's 2 wins in a row, I believe, because they beat Bonnie Cone Leadership Academy on Tuesday this week. So who did Highland Tech beat? Share who you played, Lincoln. That's a good job. I went to the Gaston County Media Day, and Highland Tech obviously was there, and I thought their coach was really smart in some of the things he was saying about wanting to find ways to build some positive momentum in the program, and it looks like it's working out. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Mr. Mitchell, good evening. Good to see you. How did Huff do down in South Carolina? I saw they were up 14-0 in the third quarter against Carolina Forest. That's all the way down by Myrtle Beach, man. That's a ride. But let us know how Huff ended up down there. Coach Daniel checking in says Independence 34, Christian 13. Okay. Yep. I got a stat from that game also. Big Eye shared with me after the game. Okay, it's about Jaden Jones and he had a big night running the football. It was, where is it? Now I can't find it. Anyway, he had over 200 yards rushing. I know that. Once I find it, I don't know where it disappeared to. It was right. Oh, here it is. 214 yards and 3 touchdowns for Jaden Jones. So, yeah, another big game for him. That's awesome. Congratulations to the Patriots on a big win. All right. So, Lincoln, we're talking about Highland Tech, said they played Buford. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's a good win. Good win. 2 in a row for Highland Tech. Awesome, man. Over Buford. Good job. All right. Jam Robinson 49-8 over Concord. Yeah, awesome stuff right there. Coach Seidel's got those Bulldogs rolling, undefeated on the season. And I think everyone is waiting for that matchup with Northwest Cabarrus, which is now seemingly the rival for Jam Robinson. We saw Northwest Cabarrus yesterday have a big win over A.L. Brown, 47-21. So it looks like those two teams are on track to meet up once they get deeper into the season into conference play. So the Bulldogs are rolling. They are definitely a contender for sure. JP checking in says Hopewell beats Berry 28-15. Yeah, I definitely have not seen that score. So thank you, JP, for that. And Hopewell doing a great job, man. Kind of under the radar, but they are playing well. They're playing well under Coach Gentry. Coach Gentry has built good programs in his past. You think about the success he had at Northwest Cabarrus, and now it seems like Hopewell might be turning the corner a little bit. They're definitely playing better this year. I have people that have told me on multiple occasions that they think that Hopewell team is looking a lot better overall. So, yeah, good job. Congratulations to the Titans and Coach Gentry. Excellent stuff right there. All right, Antonio Douglas Jr. shares Ashbrook 18, West Meck 0. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you something. That Ashbrook defense is real. We saw them week 1 when they went down to Forest Hills and, kept a good Forest Hills team in check, only gave up 13 points in that win. And now after a bye week, they come back and they shut out West Meck, who had a lot of good momentum coming in off of a win over Rocky River. So yeah, Ashbrook is definitely going to be a threat in Gaston County. And with the way that conference is shaping up out there, and we're talking about the oh gosh, now Big South. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Big South 3A conference out there with Gaston and Cleveland County, I think is wide open, and Ashbrook is looking like they could be a contender for sure. So that's a good win. Good win. West Meck really had some good stuff going. So yeah, Coach Moore also sharing that same result right there. So congratulations to the Green Wave. I picked you guys on the show. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, okay, 41-0 Huff. Yeah. I was telling somebody I felt like you guys, were pretty strong favorites in that one. So safe travels getting home from Carolina Forest. That's a ride. Man, hope maybe y'all staying down there? That'd be a nice little getaway for a day. Let the kids go to the beach. I don't know. Anyway, anyway, when you come back, be safe, man. Congratulations. Um, Coach Mike Daniel also sharing about Jaden Jones. I shared that stat. He said Jones and Travis Hill, who is the number 2 running back, 300 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns total. Strong stuff, man. Strong stuff. Thank you, Miss Black, for watching. Dedicated J.M. Robinson fan. There you go. Appreciate that. Oh, one of my favorites, Zion Bus Lindsay. Thanks for watching, Zion. Monroe 62-0 over Rocky River. Wow. Monroe flexing their muscle. That is definitely impressive right there. Got a lot of good stuff rolling. And I know you guys really wanted to play West Charlotte from all the reports that we had about trying to get that game in. But you definitely went out there and executed well, and you obviously once again, as usual, a state contender threat in 2A. Are the Monroe Red Hawks. So good job, Zion. And if you had a good game, man, send me your stats, man. I'd love to shout you out, man. Great job. All right, our guy Jason McCrory down at Argykill said Argykill started well, got up 21-7, and then they were up 28-7, and then Marvin Ridge scored the next 35 points. Wow, 42-28. Marvin Ridge with the victory. Okay. Yeah, well, I saw that game was tied at 28 at halftime. We were looking like, good gracious, what is going on down in Valentine? But yeah, that's a big rival game. I'm sure the crowd was great. I mean, what a beautiful night for football it was, man. I mean, we were standing on the sideline and just saying, we just wished it was like this the whole season. I mean, it was just perfect. I mean, it wasn't much of a breeze, but it was cooler. Wasn't a lot of humidity. Wasn't hot. Just a beautiful night, man. And it was a big crowd at Cox Mill. So hopefully, a lot of schools had big crowds tonight. So thanks guys for all those comments right there. That helps me catch up. I'm hoping if someone was at Irmo Butler, I'd love to hear your feedback, man. Just leave a couple comments. Let us know what you saw. Alex Wiley checking in says Olympic 41-28 win over West Cabarrus. All right. Trojans 3-0 quietly on the season. I had a feeling after I saw Olympic, last week, and their defense and their special teams really did a good job in helping them get the win over North Meck. But I talked to Coach Thompson after the game off camera, and he was a little disappointed that his offense wasn't gonna. They didn't really get anything going, and I had a feeling that he wasn't gonna let that ride again this week. So yeah, I saw a couple of clips just scrolling through social media. So congrats to the Trojans, man. 3-0, and a lot of people aren't talking about Olympic right now, and they probably want to keep it that way, but I'm sorry. You guys will probably, move up in the ranking next week, and then people start talking about you guys a little bit. But congratulations to the Trojans. Great job, man. Mr. Barry, yes, I did talk about Highland Tech. A couple people posted about them earlier. If you got stats for those defensive guys right there with Cooper and Emmanuel, shoot those stats to me. I love to shout those guys out in Pet Man players if they had a big game. But yeah, Highland Tech 2 in a row, man. Congratulations, man. I know it feels good. Man. It's been a long time coming. You guys are really making progress down there. That's good. Good stuff, man. Gary Ashley. Yeah. Now this score, yeah. The chat administrator was at this game, and he told me there were a few touchdowns called back on both sides. I know he shared that South Iredale had a chance to kick a field goal at the end of the half, and they didn't, and then they didn't score, obviously. And then they got down to the 2-yard line at the end of the game, but couldn't get it in, or they ran out of time or something. So I'll tell you this: kudos to South Iredale, because they must have came a long way. I saw them scrimmaging earlier this season, and it didn't look like it was going to be a really strong season for them, but I mean, for this game to be 6-0 to a good Statesville team who, beat a pretty good Lake Norman team last week. Yeah, good job, South Iredale, for being in there. And if you're Statesville, I mean, I want to go back and, take a look at some things here and, see what happened offensively because they put up 28 against Lake Norman last week. So, and Lake Norman's usually a pretty decent defensive team. So, yeah, I would agree. That's interesting. I'd love to find out a little bit more about what happened in that game, right there, Gary. But all right, let's go to some other scores. You're still free to post your comments. We still got at least about 15 minutes left in the show. At least that's scheduled. We talked about J.M. Robinson. They did beat Concord. Ashbrook over West Met. We talked about. I led the show early off talking about Irmo and Butler. Irmo won that game in overtime over Butler, 35-34. If you're just joining us a little late. And once again, if you went to the Irmo Butler game, please post your comments and let us know what you saw. Parkwood did beat East Meck 35-14. We got Lake Norman Charter over Christ the King 24-21. A big game down on Park Road. Providence Day came back. They were down 9-7 at halftime to Charlotte Catholic, but they came back. They beat Charlotte Catholic 24-9 to get back in the win column. We talked about Marvin Ridge over Argykill. Cardinal Gibbons over Richmond Senior. Some people might be interested in that one. 31-13 Cardinal Gibbons over Richmond. Mooresville was big tonight. Where's the chat administrator? I thought he would be here talking about this one. Mooresville was big, 66-0 over West Roland. You think they might be a little upset after losing to Reagan. We talked about Huff over Carolina Forest, 41-0. I want to confirm this one. We has Glenn over Chambers, 31-13. I would love to confirm that. But that's what Max Preps is saying. But it was at Glenn, so I don't know how many people could confirm that for us. Providence was big over Hunter Huss, 56-27, and I believe at the half this game was 56-6. I believe it was something along those lines. But Coach Ward sent me a couple stats. He said Jackson DB was the quarterback. Jackson DB, 11-12 for 230 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was all in the first half. He didn't play in the second half. The young receiver, Otavia Oliveira, had 4 catches for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sean Matthews is a junior receiver, had 3 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. And then the sophomore receiver, Keelan Shelton, had 2 catches for 62 yards and 1 touchdown. So congratulations to Providence. That's a big win. Wow. They I know they didn't play. They scheduled to play South Meck last week. That game got rescheduled for later this season, I believe. And, they had the tough loss to Argykill down in the CLT kickoff classic. So this is their first win all in the season. So congrats to the Panthers right there. That's a big win. Jason McCrory says heard Cuthbertson beat South Meck 24-8. Okay. Cuthbertson is interesting because in the preseason we talked about them, losing the brothers to Charlotte Christian, played linebacker on defense. So we weren't sure how they were going to adjust to that, but it seems like they're doing all right so far. And I think South Meck is an improved team from last year, so I think that's a good win right there for the Cavaliers down in Waxhaw. Randy Dillingham checking in. Thank you, Coach. Alexander Central, 28-19 over North Iredale. All right. Congrats to Alexander Central. They still run that option, man. That stuff is hard to stop. I mean, I used to hate it when I saw it when I was coaching. Good gracious. But it's a great system once you get it down. So congrats to Alexander Central for picking up a good win right there. All right, we're back to the scoreboard right here. We'll scroll down. Oh, our guy, Coach Tatum at Walkertown. 3-0. Big win over Forest Hills per Max Preps. 27-21 over Forest Hills. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. But our guy, Coach Dub, looks like they went down tonight to South Lake Christian in a good game, 21-10. South Lake Christian, a much improved team. And they're doing a good job with that program with some new players in the fold there. Harding over Garinger, 18-0 per Max Preps. Harding playing 2 games this week. And trust me, they're young and they had some guys got hurt on Tuesday. So that was not an easy game for Harding by any stretch of the imagination. They found a way to get it done for them to get their first win on the season right there. Congrats to the Rams. Charlotte Latin having a good season so far over Cannon. This was at Cannon, 35-14. So kudos to Coach Drayton in that program. They are really, turning the corner. And I'm seeing a lot of teams, starting to have some success that have kind of been down the past couple of years. And, I think Latin falls in that category. We've talked about Highland Tech being 2-0. That's awesome stuff, man. I love to see it. I love to see the hard work and, dedication paying off, for these teams and finally getting some victories and having a chance to celebrate some success, man. That's really good. In a close one, Carson beats Piedmont 32-29. I was hoping Piedmont could build on the win they got over Central Cabarrus recently, but they just came up a little short right there. We're scrolling. This was a big win. Hickory Grove over South Rowan 13-9. This is a Division II private school program playing a public school. And then finding a way to get a win. So that is a huge win for that Hickory Grove program right there. Congrats to Coach Balcom and those guys. Albemarle was over West Stanley 33-14. South Point was big over Ballantyne Ridge. South Point out of South Carolina, big over Ballantyne Ridge, 63-0. Let's see here. We got a couple more. Salisbury bounces back big over East Rowan, 57-0. Bessemer City was big over Avery County, 42-17. Grayson out of Georgia defeated Mallard Creek, 28-14. Our guy Shaquan was there. I'm sure he will have some highlights and pictures from that over the weekend. Big game. We talked about it on the show. Crest jumped out to a 27-0 lead over Shelby at halftime. And they're able to get the win 27-14 over Shelby. So congratulations to the Chargers picking up a big win in that rivalry. I know big guy Adam Shelby Weber is not too happy about that one. We got Freedom over Forest View 26-7. East Lincoln big over Lincolnton 52-14. Carolina Bearcats get into the win column over Bonnie Cone Leadership 50-32. Randleman over Bunker Hill, 35-21. Mount Pleasant over Central Cabarrus. Mount Pleasant now 3-0. Congratulations to the Tigers. 42-29 is the score in that one. Catawba Ridge over Chester, 21-14. Anson County over North Rowan, 44-22. Kings Mountain in the other matchup on Cleveland County. Kings Mountain 41, Burns 20. So Kings Mountain back in the win column. Let's see. Watauga over Maiden. River Bluff over Nation Ford in South Carolina. And we got a couple more comments here. Chat Administrator says he cannot talk about his pick'em picks. I'm sure we all struggled with something tonight. Oh, here's our guy. Trayvon says penalties killed Statesville and South Iredell tonight. 5 touchdowns were called back combined. Good gracious. Wow. That's a lot, man. That's a lot right there. More about Statesville, South Iredell says, Chad Administrator says South got down to the Statesville 5, but time ran out. Wow. All right. Well, there you go. There's Big Eye. He says, great team win tonight over tough Charlotte Christian team, 34-13. Yeah. There you go. Good stuff. Random score. Oh, man, I picked Thomasville. Oh. Hang on. See? I knew I couldn't be perfect. Congratulations, TW Andrews. Great job right there. All right, so you'll have pictures and you'll have highlights from West Shawn and Cox Mill later tonight if you're a night owl like me. If not, you'll see it in the morning. But make sure you check out those interviews that I talked about with Coach Griner, Davion Jones, and Jamari Nichols from West Charlotte. Congratulations once again to the Lions. A big win over Cox Mill tonight, which is where me and producer were. And I want to hear about Irmo Butler, so I got to go find where people are talking about it. All right, so on behalf of the crew who was all out tonight, I'm Pet Man Matt Maher. Thank you for watching Friday Night Live. We'll see you Wednesday night on Football Focus Weekly at 8 p.m. We'll be breaking down the next week with a lot of big games. And we'll talk a little bit about this week, too. We got to look back a little bit. I'll let the guys talk about what they saw on Friday night as well. And, yeah, Trayvon, it's a surprise, but Walkertown's on fire. Shout out Coach Tatum. Good job, man. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Let's go Carolina Panthers.